Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to speak about this plant, or rather this vegetable, which is quite a common and quite a favorite in my country, Malaysia, and also in many parts of the world. The scientific name for this plant is Sauropus Androgynus, which is quite a mouthful. So let me give you the local name, or rather the Malaysian name for this vegetable. In Malaysia, it is called Sayur Manis or Pucuk Manis, which literally translates to sweet vegetable. It is also called sweet leaves in English, and in my mother tongue, it is called Tausa Murugakire. Now, as you can see, these vegetables, the leaves are dark, rich green color. So this means that it has a high level of chlorophyll. So that means this vegetable has many nutritional benefits. Namely, it aids circulation, it helps in blood building, and also aids in cell rejuvenation. Besides that, it helps you have a constant bowel movement, and also helps your good bacteria or the flora in your gut flourish. So, besides that, it is also high in protein, calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium. Well, isn't that a lot? And also vitamins A, E, and C. I have read that this vegetable is also a big help for lactating mothers, where it actually helps mothers produce protein-rich milk. It also aids in fatigue, stamina, energy. So women like me who are menopausal, this is a good vegetable to include in our diets. Now, the only side effect, or the only, not side effect, I would say it's more of a downside of this vegetable, is the fact that it has high levels of oxalic acid. And oxalic acid can be toxic if it's eaten in a large amount, especially for people who are trying to prevent kidney stones and so on. So, when you eat this vegetable, make sure to cook this vegetable to remove the ill effects of oxalic acid. But otherwise, do include Sayur Manis or Tausa Murugakire or Sauropus Androgynus in your diet for a healthy life. So I'm going to cut these leaves. Ideally, I shouldn't be cooking leaves like these, because this is quite, it's quite a tall plant. It shouldn't be so. I should have pruned it much earlier, but I didn't. Ideally, it should be eaten at this stage when it's still quite, the leaves are tender and so on, or maybe this one over here. It's still quite nice. So, but today I'm not going to waste these, so I'm just going to give it a shot. I'm just going to try and cook the older leaves and see whether they're too fibrous or if they're still okay. So what I'm doing is, let me get this out of the way. Okay, now these are the leaves. These are the stems. Recently, I've not been taking care of my plants, or at least this particular vegetable. So I've not, see, they're like that. Some of the leaves have fallen off. So I'm going to try and grow a fresh batch. So these are not so good because they are sort of yellow and so on. So I am going to try and grow these stems. So basically, I will cut these in 2 pieces, and I'm going to take off all these brown stems which have like dried off, and then I will put this into, just going to keep the tops, put this in some water, and I will eventually put it into some fresh soil, and I'll plant it again. So as for these big ones over here, these are the ones that I'm attempting to cook today. So I'm going to just cut them off like this. Maybe just leave a little bit at the top, just a little bit at the top to sort of get some, get some plant food. Okay, so this bit here, cut it in a hexagonal, put it into water, and I'm going to plant these. So all these will be put in here for me to cook later. Hello everyone. I know that I had made a video yesterday about this vegetable, that I have spoken to you about the Sauropus Androgynus, which is still quite a mouthful, but I shall just refer to it as Sayur Manis, which is in Bahasa Malaysia, or sweet vegetable, sweet leaves, or maybe just Tausa Muruga Kire, which is in Tamil. Well, anyway, I had more to tell you about these plants. The fact is, I had let this plant grow to double the size. So this is this much, and it was double the size, and most of my plants were that size. So today I actually went in and got them cleared up, and I'm going to propagate these stems like this. I just put them into some vase of water like this, and I'm probably going to cut this in two and plant them into soil. And this time round, I'm not going to wait for the plants to get this old for me to actually cook them. What I would like to say is, at this stage when it's so tall, these plants would start to flower, and the flowers are quite peculiar because they don't grow facing the sun, they don't grow on the top and face the sun, they grow underneath, you see, and they're quite pretty. Can you see that? These flowers, they look like wooden flowers, and they're quite pretty to look at. And well, when they what I would like to highlight is when they start to flower, and when the flowers bloom, it's not quite the time for you to cook them because the leaves would be slightly fibrous. They would be harder to chew. There will be a bit of a bite, and they won't be nice and tender. So they are still edible, and I'm definitely going to cook these leaves. But what I would suggest is not make like a Chinese stir fry with these vegetables. Maybe a soup that you boil for a longer period, or perhaps a traditional Indian method where when we cook Indian food, we tend to cook the food for a longer period. So perhaps that would be how I would be cooking these. So don't do stir fries with this vegetable. And another thing that I would like to highlight, which I think is rather important, is the fact that you must never eat this vegetable when it's raw. So if you think of making a breakfast smoothie with these vegetables, don't. Because the high oxalic acid content in this vegetable could actually be very, very toxic. I know I've mentioned it earlier, but I would like to highlight it once again, because there were cases of apparently, it hasn't been 100% pinned on this vegetable, but there were cases of food poisoning in Korea many years ago, where there was a diet fad, and a group of ladies had taken in raw Sauropus Androgynus juice, and they ended up in the hospital, and some of them it was even fatal. So all of them had taken this, but it wasn't really pinned on this vegetable. So just in case, guys, remember that the oxalic acid in here is very high. Do not eat this raw. This is not a smoothie vegetable. This is a vegetable that you need to cook, and it's really, really healthy. So I'm going to plant these today. So first, to break up the soil a little bit, to sort of aerate it in case they're like clumpy, soil that's hard. So all these areas I want to use. These are already some that I had harvested the big plants from earlier. So can you see, guys? There's some shoots coming out here already, and I had cut this about a month or so ago. So okay, so I'm just going to break up the soil a little bit. Okay, now the first stem, I'm going to take it out and just make a small hole, about 2 inches or so, and press down the soil. Another one now. Make sure it's in the right direction. See, it's this way, so it's not this way, it's this way. I'm going to make a hole here, 2 inches or so, and just lightly press the soil around it. This is a thicker one. Let's see where maybe here. Okay. Okay, here, and this is the last one. Maybe here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to lightly water those, especially the ones I just planted. So I'm not sure now. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, and all the rest as well. Just a little bit until they take off. These are some over here that I had planted earlier. So these will slowly take off. I just planted this about 5 days ago, so this will take some time. So as you can see over here, some shoots have taken off here. This was planted about a month ago. So yeah. So thank you everyone for joining me today on learning the health benefits of our local Pucuk Manis or Tausa Murugakirei. And if you did enjoy my video, please do subscribe, give me a thumbs up and do share. Thanks everybody. Here's Shakila Shanmugam signing off. Bye everyone.